That's so fucked up.
You are back, and this is the movies that fucked me up. So, I'm gonna take you back to when I was 13 years old and I first saw this movie. I'm going to be talking about the 1982 Basket Case. This was directed by Frank Henenlotter, who also did Frankenhooker. So, you should know what kind of movie we're gonna be watching. This movie stars Kevin Van Hentenryck. Dude, that is a long-ass name. I had to repeat that over and over to get this shot done. Anyway, he is Duane Bradley, and he walks around New York City holding a wicker basket. Duane walks around New York, as I said, holding a wicker basket. Only in New York can you see a person just walk around with some random basket and nobody pays attention to that. Anyways, so he's walking around New York holding kind of something ominous in this basket. Speaking of New York, so along the way, he comes across this drug dealer who starts naming off all these drugs. I mean, I lost count. I don't even know how this guy is carrying on him, but only in New York do you walk across a drug dealer that's holding over like random 20 drugs on him. So anyways, Duane is in New York for this revenge tour. Yeah, nothing says scary as a man walking around with a wicker basket being like scary. And he meets the first doctor who recognizes him and makes the first phone call. Again, some guy walking into your office with a basket, kind of weird. So anyways, watch this movie, kids, because, you know, it's a classic. Anyways, so as Duane goes on, meets the doctor, we end up finding out that he has a twin brother. Not just any kind of twin brother, but a conjoined twin. It is revealed early on that this is his conjoined twin. His name is Belial. Yeah, when you first see him, again, if you watch this movie now, it's gonna kind of seem a little cheesy, but when I first saw this, when I was younger, this shit was a little bit fucking scary. So yeah, even though they show him, once they end up showing you the actual conjoined twin part of this, well, again, for me, when I first saw this, 13, this kind of fucked me up. And this is why you are here. And this was the shit that fucked me up. Ugh, dry January is over. I missed you, my friend. As I said, Duane and Belial are conjoined twins. And when they show this, and they actually show him attached to him, that shit kind of fucked me up. Because when you looked at him, it looked kind of real. Like you saw that thing attached to him, kind of like, ah. So when the reveal came and this was attached to him, yeah, like that kind of, it looked real. And that fucked me up. So the father ended up hiring some doctors to help him remove this off of him. They did this on the kitchen table. Yeah, Thanksgiving dinner was probably really fucking uncomfortable. So as they're holding Duane down and then try to inject Belial, that shit looked real. Like it really looked like they were trying to inject something that was actually attached to him. Which, by the way, fun fact, I throw these in here. So I have this little like mass of fat on my side. It's been there for a while. Nicole had even asked me if it was like the same thing as Basket Case. So yeah, I walk around with this little lump of fat that makes me think that Belial, my version of Belial, is on my side and has not come out yet. So when the scene comes that they're removing Belial from Duane, you don't really see it and an homage to the old school way of doing horror movies. You just see the doctor chopping away with blood splattering, but you know what's going on. You realize that this doctor is just chopping away. And eventually, as they finish chopping off Belial, they end up pulling him away. And as he's being pulled off the body, this little chunk of mass falls off. And when you hear it fall, it was kind of like, ew, like it was like whop. So that scene right there, as you saw him being pulled off, it looked real, especially when I was 13 years old. They end up removing Belial from Duane. There's this scene in the movie, when you watch this, you're probably gonna laugh. I mean, I know I did. And I was high as fuck when I watched this again to do this episode. So they use stop motion. And when you watch this movie, it's probably gonna look a little cheesy. I was laughing my ass off when this was happening. Yes, it looks corny as fuck, but I'm gonna tell you right now, when I was much younger, 13, it was scary as fuck. This movie was actually not with all its scares. It does have some kind of funny stuff in it. There's a point in time, especially in the final scene, when Belial and Duane go against each other, and Belial grabs Duane. He grabs him from his dick and basically lifts him up in the air. He's like sitting there holding him, screaming. Again, when I watched this movie and I was high as fuck, it was funny. This movie is not as scary as it was when I was younger. However, watching it now, this shit is a classic, and you should add it to your repertoire of horror movies that you have, that you watched from the back to now. For this movie, this fucker fucked me up. I mean, it's scary to think that something like that grew on you, and considering I got this like fat mass on me, hello Belial. But this is what fucked me up on this movie. This is a B movie. B movies are a huge part of our horror community. Some of the corny B movies are really important, and you should add this one. I promise you that it's gonna be funny. At the same time, if you think about it, imagine what the CGI would be on this movie. So join me for the next episode. You knew this was going to be coming up. Eventually, it's coming up now. I'm going to be doing the human centipede. Yep, that one holds the distinction of doing one thing that no horror movie has ever made me do. Until then, ta-ta for now.